Tunakushukuru Mwenyezi Muumba kwa kutupatia nafasi ili tuwe na kikao chetu ndani ya Formidable Rock Cycle. Kwa nasi tunapokianzisha kikao hiki ni katika Kristo ndiye mwombezi wetu. Amen. Haya basi. Imekuwa ni muda mwingi tangu nilipokutana nawe darasani kwa mara nyingine na kutana nawe darasani. Oh, you're welcome to Formidable Rock Times Geography class session. And today we have this for you. Very hot from the kitchen, very hot. Education for sustainable development. That is meant for you, dear student, be it in primary grades or from 1, 2, 3, 4 in high school, the Kenyan education system. You're highly welcome. Subscribe, like, and share from Formidable Rock Times. Today we want to, as you look at the array of this book, they are quite a number, and they all have meanings here, each and every one of them. We want to look at the reason as to why God created the earth in the way in which it breathes. The earth was designed by God in a way in which it can breathe. The layers of the crust of the earth are two, but the layers of the internal part of the earth are three. The crust is itself divided into continental crust and as well the oceanic crust. And this entire crust has a thickness of up to 75 kilometers. That is when you try to have the measure from the peak of the tallest mountain of the world, Mount Everest, all the way to the bottom of the deepest ocean abyss. Now, one thing that we have to get to know just as a people back at home, when you go preparing your porridge, to those who have ever tried it in the African setups, then you know that when you prepare your porridge in the kitchen, you get to cover that porridge with another cooking pot or a sufuria, and you make sure that there is no space left between the two, the cover and the cooking pot itself. Then there's a lot of pressure that is generated right in the cooking pot. And with no time, if anything happens, like a little space is gotten, then the entire pot cover shall be blown off by that great pressure. It's the same way that if God had created the crust over which we stay in a manner that it couldn't breathe, therefore it could blow off and be blown off by the eminent pressure that is cooked and cooked 2,700 kilometers below the crust, below the surface. Therefore, it is very beautiful and not awful to understand of this concept in geography, geological sciences, that the crust needs to breathe. To the Form 2s, the Form 3s, the Form 4s watching this video, you have therefore got to know that the crust has to move away from each other, and at that particular point where they disjoin, we call them extension boundaries. These extension boundaries are the points where the earth breathes, and some people would get to say, but how comes this is just common? Maybe in the islands of Hawaii, How comes this is just common along the Rift Valley? It's because these are the points where the earth crustal blocks have to move away from each other, and in the end result, the terminuses of such crustal blocks, then they have to collide at such points, and that is what we call the compressional boundaries or the destructive margins. Therefore, the extension margins are referred to as constructive margins, because at such areas, new rocks are formed.
Play by TF card.
I want to make you people know that we have got only 5 zones where the earth breathes through the entire world. One of such areas is the Great Rift Valley that emanates from southern Israel, whose capital city is Tel Aviv. And I am referring to this country called Turkey. Moving through the Mediterranean Sea into Alexandria, Cairo, coming to Addis Ababa, and you are at Iraq's hills. And then it gets to divide before it gets into Kenya, into Western Rift Valley, and we have the Eastern, and the Western gets into Uganda, and we have the Gregory Rift Valley passing through Kenya, and they get to join in Zambia, Shire Valley, Luangwa Province. That's one area that experiences extension, an area where the earth breathes through. And yet another area is the circum-Pacific belt, because this entire area moves all the way from the top of Russia, northeastern parts, all the way to Antarctica via places like Laos. Some impacts are felt around the Philippine Islands and Mauna Loa. Such areas have the earth breathing. The other side of US, northwest, we have the circum-Pacific belt, and it travels all the way to the south via the Hawaiian Islands. The earth has to breathe through those points. Number 3 area is the Mediterranean Himalayan belt, where the earth has to breathe through. And at this junction, all the way to Turkey, and moving into the Mediterranean northern part of it, places like Czechoslovakia, Kazakhstan, the earth has to breathe through such areas as you traversing into Bangladesh, northern parts of United Arab Emirates. The earth has to breathe through those zones. We have got a valley in Germany called Benue. The earth has to breathe through that point. And so, never get to complain that, there are tremors felt in these regions. That is nature. Let nature naturally do its things. Therefore, out of that, we have got mountains like in the Rift Valley, such as the Suswa Hills. We have got Longonot. We have got Mount Kenya. Tanzania, we have the Kilimanjaro. They are formed as a result of volcanic eruptions that only happened because the earth needs to breathe. And in the north, the polar regions, we have the Ural Mounts. There is the Everest, all in Russia, and we are talking again of the little volcanoes that are found around the Tibet Plateau. The earth has to breathe through those points. We have got the Hawaiian Islands that do experience volcanic eruptions. It's because the earth has to breathe. Therefore, we have got such. If it were not for God to have organized the earth in this way, then we would not be holding all this beauty that we behold today about the earth. So let it be. Join me next in our next session, and in our next session we shall discuss on why the oceans roar. You have a good day.